going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to show you the setup of the new water box aquarium. It took me a long time to finish the stand. I'm going to tell you the cons and pros of going DIY. I just want to let you know that most likely this is going to be my last DIY project that I will ever do. In the future, if I want to do like another project, another stand, I'm going to get an aluminum stand, and maybe I can do the panels myself. But making the stand from zero, I believe it's too much, and I got a little frustrated. I'm gonna show you why. So let's jump into the video, and let me show you how the tank is doing right now. All right, we have some progress in my DIY stand. I already sanded it down, and I'm making the a middle shelf that is going to serve for all the controllers and extra test kits that I have around. So as you can see, the progress is going on very slowly, but I'm doing it. Let me show you around. A couple of things about it. The plywood is 3x4 in white pine, and these pieces of wood, they're also white pine 1x2s. I tried to make it as small as I could into the inside, so I can have a lot of space available to put more stuff into. So I'm almost done with all the details. Right now I have a problem trying to put this stuff on. This stuff right here is for the doors, so they pop up. I made that, I put it right there, but I didn't measure. I bought this afterwards, like I just got this, right? So as you can see, I don't have anywhere to screw that on. So I have to put these two little guys right here, so I can have somewhere to grab that thing on. Little details here and there. We are almost done with everything. The next step is to paint it. I believe that's the longest process, painting this thing, because I have to paint it, then sand it down, then paint it again. The doors are ready. I have them over there. As you can see, the shelf that I made before, I came out pretty good. So the whole idea behind it is that this is going to be the ATO reservoir. So it's gonna sit right there, and I'm going to be able to like just pull it out a little bit, fill it up, and push it back in. And then I have all this space for more stuff like test kits. I have a lot of test kits. I will be able to put that in there, and top of here as well. And this area is going to be dedicated for controllers, you know, all the stuff that goes into the any tank. This is the first stage of the painting. As you can see, the color that I choose is the same color that I have for my main display in frag tank. It's like a brownish color, dark brown. So I didn't want to have black, and I didn't want to have brown, so I choose this, something in between, right? Just to let you know, I am not a woodworker. I learned how to do woodwork because I needed to make stands for my tanks. All right, so if you see mistakes or stuff that is like, what in the hell is this guy doing, I remind you, I'm not a woodworker. Okay. That being said, I try to make it as good as possible, paint it as good as possible, and the whole thing behind it is I want to make it last. I want to make it that it lasts some heavy work. All right, so that's the cabinet. So it has two stages, and here are the doors. So like I said before, this is the first stage of the painting. Now I have to wait until the paint dries, and then I will sand it down and repaint it, because I want to get that glossy finish. If I leave it like that, it's going to be like matte. I don't want a matte finish, I want a gloss finish. All right, so this is the tank. So let me show you around a little bit in the whole setup. Let's start with the tap. So right here, that's a polycarbonate tap. I'm still thinking about do a couple more modifications into the tap, but pretty much that's how it's going to look. Of course, it's going to peel it off. It's going to be clear. That's just a protective film. Reason why I'm doing this is evaporation and of course keeping stuff away from the tank. If we remove this, that's the tank. I was playing around trying to see if I could glue some pieces of acrylic. The polycarbonate sets flush into inside the tank, but it didn't work. The stuff came out, so I'm going to get something else for it. I already installed everything. The media's there, the filter sock, and right there I already put the pump. And also this tank, I'm going to run a Nero 3 into this tank. The pump moves 2,000 gallons per hour, and what I like about it is that the magnet is inside this chamber. It's going to be a bare bottom, so I'm going to run a bare bottom tank. So what I want to do, and I noticed that with the mantis shrimp setup that I have over there, a lot of the detritus accumulates, so I want to get rid of all that stuff. So I'm putting the Nero 3 right there, so it moves all the stuff, and hopefully all the detritus goes into the filter sock. All right, so that's the setup for the tank, right? So I have it right there. It looks pretty good. It came out to be pretty good actually. And so let me show you the stand. Right here I have a shelf. I already show you guys that. I'm going to accommodate all my equipment in this area. And the bottom is going to be reservoir, and on this side I'm going to use all this space for test kits and that kind of stuff. Okay. And also I'm trying to level this stand. It's been kind of difficult. My floors are really bad. So what was so difficult about building this stand? Time consuming, first of all, and second, materials and tools. When building a DIY stand or DIY whatever, you have to keep in mind all the materials and the time and skill. That comes with just practice a lot. If you don't have good tools, you are going to have a very, very difficult time creating something that you want, right? So that was one thing. The other thing is getting the materials and spending the time into building the stand. As of right now, that stand that you see right there took me almost a month. Of course, I don't work every day into it. I have a lot of other stuff that I have to do and finish, and so I have to do like little by little, and it took me almost a month to finish that. So painting the thing, sanding the stuff, like that takes so much time, and as of right now I don't want to do that anymore. But as you can see, I mean, it turned out pretty good. I always take my time into making these things. That's another thing. I don't want to create something like crappy looking, you know what I mean? So that's how the tank looks as of right now. All right, so that's the setup for the waterbox Peninsula Mini 25. It has to get cycled in order for me to move the mantis shrimp. And also, I'm going to start making the aquascape, which that's the fun stuff to do. No more painting and sanding and all that stuff that, don't get me wrong, I like it, but when you don't have time and you don't have like good tools, it becomes such a difficult problem to deal with. All right, so let's talk DIY versus buying your stuff. Okay, so DIY, like you see there, that tank is all, like the stand is all custom made. I designed the stand into my own specifications. I choose the materials. It comes to DIY, yes, the sky is the limit. You can do whatever is on your mind. The only problem with that is time and the tools. If you don't have good tools to, let's say, cut the wood, drill into the wood, you are going to spend a very, very long time dealing with that stuff. Also, most DIY that I see online and from other people's stands, they're not like really good looking, and I understand why, because you get to a point that you are like, it needs to hold a tank. It doesn't need to do anything else. It doesn't need to look pretty or whatever. It just needs to hold a box of water. That's it. In my case, I can't do that. Why? Because I don't like that. And second, my stuff is in my living room. So if it starts looking like fish store kind of crappy looking stuff, I'm going to have problems with my wife. So everything has to match. Everything has to look like very standard. So it blends a little bit, you know what I mean? So that's DIY. Once again, the biggest problem that I see into making DIY is the time consumption. That's the biggest reason and problem that I have for making DIY. That the stand was driving me crazy. The whole process, like, okay, at the beginning you have to draw what you want, right? You get your measurements. After you have your measurements, you start building your stand. On that stand, I was making some sort of a new design, because my 120 and the frag tank down there, those are DIY as well. And on that one, I decided to maximize the space inside the stand as much as I could. So I used the 3/4 plywood as a support. All right, so this is my 120, all right? So let me show you the supports that I'm talking about. So you have like 1, 2, and 3 supports. That holds the weight of the tank. So that holds the weight of the tank, right? It's really good, really reliable. The only problem with that is underneath the space that you thought you will have, it becomes very small. So your space becomes very limited when you wanna put like your sump or all your equipment. For that reason, what I did with that one is I used the plywood as a support. Also, that increased the amount of difficulty into building that, because I had to like think and how that thing was going to work. The reason I got frustrated about it was like, I wanted it to move on into the build. I got stuck into it, and I'm still stuck a little bit because I haven't finished. But so that's DIY. When you buy stuff, it's totally different. You just go online, purchase whatever, assemble it, you're good to go. That's it. So for my next project in the future, that might be the route I'm going to go, because it's cool and building DIY stands and whatever, but it's very time consuming. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching my video. I appreciate it, all of you. Every single comment, every single like, every single person that subscribes to my channel, I really appreciate it. I'm doing this because of that. You guys are awesome. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching my stuff, and see you in the next video.